So I thought I'd take a little break about 3/4 of the way up before I start heading down to Stickle Tarn, because I'm pagged. I think you've gathered. Just look at that vista, that scenery, it's absolutely stunning. Easdale Tarn just down there, and to my left you've got Cordale Tarn. I've never actually stepped near Cordale Tarn, I don't think. So a little bit about me. My name's Eddie, I'm 56, and I currently live in Gateshead with my girlfriend Helen. So I've had two big careers behind me. One was the Royal Air Force, which I joined in when I was 16. A boy, just left school in an air transport logistics trade, spent 14 years in the military and loved it. Spent 5 years at RAF Lynham, but did 6-month tours in Belize, Ascension Island. I then got posted to Odium, where I had about 2 years on the Chinook helicopters. From there I went to the Falklands for 4 months in support of 78 Squadron Chinooks. Got promoted, sent to Hong Kong for 3 years, and then in the UK to Bryce. So in between I've done attachments all over the States, Africa, Middle East, Far East, Europe, plenty of times in Germany, Cyprus, so brilliant for travelling. And I bought myself out. Why? Because I'm a numbnut. Couple of twists and turns. In 1998 I joined the police, Northumbria Police, as a constable, and after 6 years transferred to Cumbria Police with a relationship I was in at the time, 2003, and saw my career in Cumbria. Most of those working on the west coast towns like Millom, Whitehaven, Workington, Maryport or Scaryport, rough arse towns. I can tell you now, I've worked in Northumbria Police, working in South Shields. But they're completely different beasts, the military and the police. 2 years ago, I was officially diagnosed as autistic through the NHS, through their ADOS test, because my mental health was deteriorating. Something wasn't quite right with me all the way through my life from a child. It didn't really rear its ugly head in the military, because the military's very structured. It's very black and white, the instructions are clear. Do that, this is the time I want you to do it, and this is what I want you to achieve. I was like a pig in shit, and I was good at sport. I liked to be out with the lads, and I was quite quick-witted. So, autism didn't really show itself, although when I look back, it did once or twice. The police is a completely different beast to the military. It's full of decent, hard-working people, tainted by decades of unhelpful, poisonous working cultures. It's all very political and nuanced. I struggled, and although I didn't know I was autistic, I got into the police, but it turns out I was just a ticking time bomb with the police, and I eventually did go off. Because I've been treated as a neurotypical person, measured as a neurotypical person, normal person. Of course I'm not. As autistic, I process information far differently to most people. I interact with people differently. I see the world differently. And through a lifetime of masking, I managed to hide some of it some of the time, masking being quite a costly social survival mechanism, whereby you kind of camouflage yourself by adopting and mimicking behaviour traits of other people. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's not just about mimicking and camouflage neither. Masking is about the suppression of your own autistic tendencies. So overall it's exhausting, it's stressful, and in the wrong environments, which I was, it eventually leads to mental health issues. I've been called all sorts of things, certainly when I was in the police. A right handful, pressing the self-destruct button, unstoppable force colliding with an immovable object, pain in the arse, why don't I have many friends. I was getting disciplined for outbursts and moments of rage, because I didn't know I was autistic. I wasn't getting the right support. I didn't know, they didn't know. One inspector pulled me into the office at Workington one day, asked if I was taking drugs. Cheers, Dave. So it was really hard, and my mental health deteriorated, certainly from my late 40s. And then I eventually retired when I was 50, hobbled over the line because I'm certain they would have found a way to sack me in the end. Well, I was particularly good at certain aspects of my job. For example, I gained 3 commendations. Most police officers go through the whole career and don't get 1. I got 3 for my work. But there was a downside to what I brought to the table, and that was swimming against the tide of these cultures that were unhelpful, that you see and read about now with the Met, and it's clearly not as bad as that. But they were there, and I resisted that. And how I interacted and got on with my colleagues and how I was managed, I was an absolute nightmare, and it was stressful for everybody concerned. So for my part in that, if anybody's watching, I do apologise. I didn't know, but I was treated awfully as well in response. So I had a breakdown after leaving the police in 2018, and that led to me being referred for an autism test after having some cognitive analytical therapy which didn't work. Diagnosed as autistic spectrum disorder. It's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. But getting out in the outdoors certainly helps. Being in the moment, it clears your head, it dumps everything that gets stored up there. It's humbling, it lets you know how insignificant and small you are in the world and in the universe. I'm allowed to, it allows me to catch my breath, figuratively speaking. Because if anybody's got any questions about autism, if you suspect you might have it, or want to know more about how it affected me, certainly as a police officer, fire away, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.